this has the potential to light the fuse on terrorism around the world. And it's difficult for us to even put our heads around that. Tactically, the abuse of women, children, young girls, boys in this radical Islamic culture are going to be the fuel for underground documentaries for the next decade or two. This is going to be an ugly story, and if it's dark today, I hate to put it this way, I think it's about to even get darker. It is still incredible to me, two facts. One, at the major military installation at Bagram Air Force Base, which was a huge installation, built up over those intervening 20 plus years, quite literally, the Afghanis woke up one morning and the US military was gone overnight with no advance warning. They found out when they woke up and looked out and we were gone. The reason that that was important is that, for good or ill, we had trained the Afghanis to fight the way we fight, which is with strong air cover. And we took our air cover and our reconnaissance airplanes out. And so they were ill-equipped to deal with an insurgent attack, given that the way we had taught them and enabled them was no longer possible. It is astounding to me that as a result of that, we took all of our military airplanes out, and then, we had to activate the Civil Reserve Air Fleet, commercial airliners, to try to land at this commercial airfield in the middle of Kabul, a several million population city, to try to do the evacuation. It was destined to be really ugly, exactly the way it's turned out. The other major tragedy in this is the tens of thousands, probably somewhere between 70 and I've heard as high as 150,000 Afghanistan civilians that worked with our military, for our military, or worked with other Western NGOs or other organizations that were in Afghanistan trying to help the situation. And we've left tens of thousands of those people behind, in addition to what the current administration is at least admitting is several hundred actual Americans who wanted to leave and were not able to leave. That is un-American. That is not right. And I think in the coming days and weeks, the very likely untold story of all of those people having to deal one-on-one with the Taliban is going to be tragedy in capital letters. And we're already hearing those stories come out of Afghanistan today. I think the world is watching to see if the willpower of the American people is there to frankly throw this administration out in the upcoming midterm elections, take charge of our foreign policy again, and to in fact reestablish America as a trustworthy, reliable, both economic, political, and military partner. I picked up one of the articles off of Russia Today. Take that for what it's worth. But the headline reads, "Afghan debacle is a sign of shift in global order, with Russian help, of course, China quickly replacing US as world's most important country. That's straight out of China and Xi Jinping's playbook. And Russia is standing on the sidelines going, yes, and we're helping to make it happen. Without the full force and faith of a viable military and political will to back it up, I think it is too true that what we are seeing is potentially the beginnings of a strategic realignment in the entire international scene that, to say the least, will not be to the benefit of the United States, much less US consumers. Is the war over? Not by a long shot. Just as so many things that this administration thinks that if they say it, it's so, we're going to get all of the Americans out. Secretary Blinken was saying that within the last week. And it changed this past week into, well, there are at least 300 or 400 that couldn't get to the airport. But the amount of weapons that we have left, I've not seen any specific data on things like shoulder-fired weapons and rocket-propelled grenades. But those are the kinds of things that A, can be transported around the world and show up literally in our backyard, shooting down airplanes trying to take off or land from Dulles Airport. That I think the next generation is going to have to deal with for the next 20 years, based on the literal billions of dollars of military equipment that we've left in Afghanistan. As bad as this is, and as bad as it can get, I think the American people are starting to get it. And if the American people will rouse themselves to truly understand what's going on, I have faith and trust in the American people that our character has not changed in spite of what has happened in our supposed elite leadership circles. I think it is time for a populist wave again to truly return America to American values.